most kids you've got posters of Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Something about vintage vehicles, Rolls-Royces, the class, the presence, the old world sort of feel. That's what appeals to me.
From drawing the Spirit of Ecstasy, aged 10 in class, to owning a 41-year-old Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit at the age of just 22, Joe's passion for Rolls-Royce is exactly why I started this channel. And today we're going to hear the story behind his 1981 Silver Spirit. Welcome back to Rest Arrival. I'm your host, Will. Let's get into it. Joe, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
Tell us what we're sat in front of.
So we're sat in front of my 1981 Silver Spirit. I've had it about 2.5 years now. Got it when I was 22, I'm 25 now. So definitely a labour of love. So I'll say, like I've told you, since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, as I say, I've always wanted a Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
So it's been a lifelong dream for me.
Yeah.
And been able to fulfil that is
quite early in your life, actually. A lot of people would say, they'd aim for their sort of dream car.
Yeah.
You know, they'd do like job, house, family.
Yeah.
Then if they had the money, but you kind of prioritised that quite early on.
I did, yeah. Rightly or wrongly, I sort of set out on a mission. I've just got to have one in some capacity. My granddad, back in the 80s, had a Shadow 2. Obviously, I wasn't around to see it, but hearing stories of the car and his, the way he spoke about the craftsmanship behind it and everything, it just resonated with me. And I was never really most kids you've got posters of Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Whilst I appreciate them and like them, it just something about vintage vehicles, Rolls-Royces, the class, the presence, the old world sort of feel. That's what appeals to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was it that kind of started that love, that you were drawing the Shadow of Ecstasy? I
don't know if there was one particular event that led to it, but probably since I was, let's say, a young kid, there was always a few that would be sat on dry. I remember actually near where my mum lived, there was a Shadow that it hardly ever came out, but when it did come out to get cleaned or to go to an MOT, I'd sometimes walk by it with my mum when she was walking us back, to home. And there was one time when I probably would have only been about 7, 8, something like that. The guy's son was cleaning it outside, and I was we were on the other side of the road. I said, Mum, I really want to go over. And so she took me over. Yeah. And the guy, he was lovely. He let me go around it. I sat in it. And I was in awe of it. It was just such a, big, impressive car. And the way it sat there, the presence of it just resonated with me. Yeah. And then years later, there was, actually in Syston, there was a Silver Spur, which is just as long a version of this, that was sat on some old guy's drive. And I used to make a point of, always trying to walk by it or just have a look at it. And I don't really know what it is, to be fair. Just the just the level of quality, the engineering, the feeling as well when you sat behind the steering wheel and the long bonnet and the Spirit of Ecstasy perched on the front. It's
cool, isn't it?
It makes you feel special when you're not.
I was going to say, there is just a presence about it. Yeah. You see it in person and you just you smile. There is something about it, like you say, that sometimes it's kind of hard to describe what it is.
Exactly. It's hard. I think it's a culmination of things. It's difficult to put your finger on it exactly. I don't think there's one thing that makes me drawn to this car. It's the way it makes you feel, and like sitting in it, driving it, the feeling of isolation from the road, even to the little details that you can tell every nut and bolt has had thought put into it. The grills, for example, behind is a signature engraved of the guys that polished and shaped
Really?
it. Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. So they do a small carving of their initials to, because they took a lot of pride in the work.
Yeah, and we were saying this off camera, and I've said this before with older Jags. When you look, deeper into a car and you see the logos embossed or engraved or printed anywhere, you just knew that there was such a level of pride.
Yeah.
obviously with these being an extra level, being hand-built and
You know
all
what
that,
it is
but-
when it's coming down the road.
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah, but-
yeah.
Modern cars have just
No, they've
it's mass
lost-
production.
Yeah.
It's weight saving. It's money saving. It's that there's no level of pride in the same way now
Definitely not.
that there was then,
No,
because it's
no.
just like you say, like with every person working on it, the idea that they could have their own stamp.
Yes.
On the car
I mean, when
forever.
you see there's footage out there from when the Shadows were in production, and nothing really changed in crew.
Yeah.
They kept old traditional ways of doing things,
Yeah.
even as technology moved ahead. Because this car at the time, there were cars out there, such as the Mercedes equivalent at the time.
Yeah.
It was further ahead in terms
Yeah.
of technology and just overall. It was ahead, and I will say that. But Rolls-Royce, they couldn't be topped with their level of craftsmanship and the love and passion that went into the cars.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like you say, is lost on nowadays, I think,
Yeah.
which is a shame.
So what was it? Why the Silver Spirit in particular? Everyone's going to go to would go
Yeah.
Shadow. So why the Spirit?
The Spirit, it was a toss-up between the Silver Shadow and the Silver Spirit.
Yeah.
These were, at the time, they are picking up in value, but a little less desirable.
Right.
The shape, the angular sort of design is not to everyone's taste. So they were a little, I won't say neglected, but they just didn't have the same values as the classically shaped Shadows, and that's what everybody thinks of really with older Rolls-Royces, Silver Shadows and Clouds.
Yeah.
So these did fall behind a little bit. So that was one reason. From what you buy one for. I mean, I paid $7,000 for this, and like I say, it wasn't quite in this condition. It did have, the tyres on it were 20 years old, but fuel lines and everything. So I went through it, but I've always liked these, the shape of them. When I was younger, I don't actually remember paying much attention to Spirits. It was always Shadows and Clouds and the really early Rolls-Royces. But as you see them as you get older, and you look and think, it's what you're getting for your money is just outstanding. So and it's I think these are coming of an age now where they are becoming more appreciated.
Yeah.
And it's finally sort of beginning to age well, I think.
Very
Because there was a point where it's very 80s in its design, very much a product of the 80s. But that's what I think. I think they've sort of come of an age now where it's finally being started to be accepted as a classic Rolls-Royce.
I mean, £7,000 is a lot of car for £7,000.
It's a lot of car, considering what it was when it was new.
Yeah. But you had to do quite a lot of work to get it to where it is today.
Yeah, there was a fit. Like I say, it's not anything unique to Rolls-Royce per se. It was more just general age-related bits. So I would say we did the tyres, all the belts have been done. I've changed a lot of the fluids and filters myself on it. Took the carbs apart. Just general detailing, polishing. There was just a bit, things like that needed doing. Just needed a deep clean. You could smell cigar inside it when I first got it.
Of course.
So
it does look like a gentleman's lounge in there.
It does, yeah. So there was just bits, and I've just stayed on top of it since. Really, just little bits here and there. It's things with cars like this. You can do bits here and there on it. So. But if something needs doing on it, obviously I pay attention and have it done. Like only a couple of months ago, it had a water pump. So whilst we were there, we put new thermostat in it. Coolant hoses were replaced as well.
Yeah.
So the idea is longevity with it.
Definitely.
And if I can replace things or that help that, I will do.
So there's a really interesting story in terms of you were very keen to try and trace the roots of this specific car.
Yeah.
And you got hold of all of the original paperwork, but you didn't stop there, did you? You wanted to
Go the
you
extra
wanted to
mile.
try and
So,
place exactly where this car was.
to give a bit of context, you can get the build sheets through the Rolls-Royce Enthusiast Club.
Yeah.
You have to pay a fee, obviously, for it, but it was worth it. It was, it was a bit of a birthday present for me.
Yeah.
So we got the build sheets for it. You see every stage the car went through at factory, from you know, down to the interior trim being fitted, to paint prep, to the guys that you know, assembled the engine. And it's quite funny reading the notes on it, and when you know, because there'd be somebody inspecting one thing, they'd have an inspector that would sign that off, and then there'd be somebody else that signed that off. But towards the end, when they were on road testing, there was notes from when it was being road tested at Crewe that it kept flooding, and they weren't happy with it. It was running. Someone wrote in the notes, running far too rich, and like 3 exclamation marks.
Really? Wow.
So with that, they took the carbs, replaced the carbs, took everything apart again.
Yeah.
But it's nice having those sort of notes. So anyway, the build sheets provide you with the details of first owner as well. So I found out where it was registered to, the address that it was delivered to by Rolls-Royce. So I went on Facebook, and there was a local group for, you know, one of those spotted, like growing up in the, I think it was growing up in the 70s in Lyndhurst is where it was, in the New Forest. And I put a post on, just said, just out of it, a long shot, but does anybody remember this car from the early 80s? It was bought new and delivered new. It would have been in Lyndhurst. And the amount of responses I get, people remembered the car. Even a guy that was, I mean, when on his profile, he looked like he was in his late 50s. He remembers being a young lad delivering milk and this being on the drive.
That's just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and the stories I heard of, you know, the first owner, you know, very down-to-earth guy, self-made millionaire, he was chairman of a company, but this is what he used when he was securing a contract. He'd be driven in this, and then so when somebody wanted a contract off of him, he'd use the Rolls, and then he
pulling out the
exactly,
you know,
to show you know, this is what we're sort of dealing with. And then he had an S-Class for when he wanted a contract off of somebody else.
Really?
So he's still professional,
right?
But this was almost a business tool when it was new, and you can see how it would have worked.
That's amazing.
To, you know, make a statement. But anyway,
it's like basically a golf club on wheels.
Yeah, exactly.
For sealing the deal.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you know, pick them up at the airport in one of these, and you can
give them the hard sell.
Exactly.
While they've got their feet on the footrest.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I put and it turns out somebody had made the guy that lives in the manor house where it was delivered to aware of, oh look, this is where it was registered, and he got in touch with me, lovely bloke, and said, you're more than welcome if you ever want to come down and get some photographs. And obviously it's just down the road from Bewley Abbey. Fortunately, I'm lucky that my grandparents have got a place in Milford-on-Sea, so we made a trip of it and took the car back to its first home. So it was nice to see it back there again, and we had a couple of photos with it by the front door, and the house was pretty much unchanged, I was told, and so was the car, really. So
that's just great.
You know, when you look after things, four decades, nearly 5 decades on, it's still quietly purring through the gates.
I love meeting owners that do things like that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's just like logically.
Yeah, you just wouldn't do it.
Why would you? But I just love the emotional connection this car has to you.
Yeah, it's like you're doing it at service, kind of thing. It's nice.
So, I think we should go out for a drive in it.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Perfect.
The engine that this is in is in production from 1959.
Yeah.
So it's all old school carburetted. There's no, you know, modern cars have fuel metering, then, you know, MAF sensors, and they can make a perfect balance of the air and fuel mixture. This is just all mechanical, you know, float bowls, and it's when it's cold you do sometimes need to give it a couple of attempts, and it's after that it's absolutely fine.
I just love that though. Like, you're talking about 70-year-old engineering.
Exactly.
And it's, you know, for the most part it works flawlessly.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just, enough can't really be said for just old school engineering.
Exactly, yeah. And this is the thing with Rolls-Royce, they never were revolutionary in anything they did, always evolutionary. They were behind the game a little bit with technology, but like I said, their thing was craftsmanship and the level of engineering and quality behind the cars.
Yeah, it's so nice in here. There's such a presence about it. Like, even on the dash you've got Yale locks.
Yes.
And everything is like chrome. ashtrays built into the wooden, you know.
You've got a few ashtrays back in the rear as well.
I'm not
Even
surprised
kids
by
smoked back then as well, yeah.
I think it was mandatory back
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah, it's armchair comfy.
Literally.
It's really like whisper quiet. It just kind of floats, doesn't it?
It does. Sort of bobs along.
Yeah.
I say road imperfections, it deals with it very well.
What imperfections, especially for British B roads, which are terrible at the best of times.
I always joke that I could run somebody over. If I wasn't looking, I'd have no idea.
And you get away with it because you're in an old
oh yeah, you do what you like, yeah.
Yeah, there's just such a relaxing demeanour about this car,
There is,
isn't it?
yeah.
You're not going to be in a hurry driving this.
Definitely not.
You don't need to be either.
No.
And that is so quiet, isn't it? You could literally whisper.
Well, look, when I first picked it up, we drove and I was at a set of lights. I thought, it's cut out.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake, it's cut out. And there you go. See, waves from other.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, I thought it's bloody cut out, and I thought, oh no. So, but I gently blipped the throttle, and there you go. You heard a muffled roar. It hadn't cut out. It was just that vibration free and quiet.
Yeah.
It didn't sound like the engine was running.
Unbelievable. For a 6.75 litre V8, it's not what you expect.
It's definitely not what you'd expect.
No. You can just tell the way that we're experiencing it is exactly how it was designed.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
Relaxing cruiser.
You can see what they were going for.
Absolutely.
You can certainly see what they were going for.
Yeah.
Because this was Rolls-Royce would never have you believe it, but at the time of this car's manufacturing, when it was being designed, I think it was the late 70s, actually an Austrian chap designed this, Fritz Feller, but he'd worked on the previous Rolls-Royces, so he was Rolls-Royce through and through, but they were really struggling financially. The aero division of Rolls-Royce collapsed at the time. They'd invested more money than they really should have into an aeroplane engine. I forget what it was called, but it went south basically, and it just collapsed, and it ruined the aero arm of Rolls-Royce. So the factory in Turnett Crewe did suffer with that. The funds weren't there for an entirely new model, so they adapted the Silver Shadow, the outgoing Shadow 2. Revisited the suspension, stiffened it up. It's got a slightly wider track at the rear as well, so it rides a bit flatter than the Shadow. So I won't say handles, but it kind of can cope with a bit more, a bit more demand than probably the Shadows, because these were known as roly-polies at the time for good reason.
But yeah, thank you for today.
Yeah, no problem at all. It's been my pleasure, Will.
I've really enjoyed our chat. My first classic Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
My first Rolls-Royce on the channel.
Yeah.
Which is good. So a bit of history for you. And I've loved it.
So I've enjoyed it as well. No, it's been nice, and so weather's been on our side as well today.
Absolutely.
So that's always helps. But
yeah, if you've enjoyed watching, should they subscribe?
Yeah,
They should.
definitely should subscribe.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks. See you next time.